Emotions. Kasey, alcoholic. Hi. As Karen mentioned, I'm not quite a newcomer. I've been in the program a bit over 5 years, been sober a bit over 5 years, been in the program for longer. My story starts probably in childhood. My whole family has mental health issues, neurodiversity, a lot of alcoholism and other addictions. My parents didn't come out in alcoholism. My dad was and still is probably expressing that through work and workaholism. And my mom is just a different story. I grew up feeling kind of different, as a lot of us did. I did pretty well in school, pretty well in sports, 2 younger brothers, and got along okay with the family, probably until middle school, and then started having a lot of conflict with my parents. And I drank for the first time my junior year of high school, or maybe a little before. I was 16. I, up until that point, had thought that I wouldn't drink. A lot of my friends did. But then I did, and I really enjoyed it. And by, a couple months later, I was drinking and driving. I was blackout drinking. So things kind of escalated pretty quickly. I ended up graduating high school, tried some other substances there, and realized I just really liked not being sober. Went to college and continued to enjoy not being sober. I went to most of my classes, did okay in those classes, didn't really feel connected with a lot of people. Again, I think I still felt like there was something wrong with me, or I was different in some kind of bad way. And I would blackout drink like 5 nights a week, and do other substances. And throughout that time, I didn't really get sick, but I got awful hangovers. And by senior year of college, I learned that the best way to fix a bad hangover is with a drink. So I graduated with no coping skills besides alcohol, other substances. I had some food stuff, and kind of with the realization that a drink could make me feel better at any time of day. Fast forward, moved to Los Angeles, and I continued drinking 5-6 days a week. I went, I think, a week sober, and that was a really big deal for me when I was 22 or 23. And actually, after that week, my mom came to Los Angeles, knocked on my door. I didn't realize she was coming, and told me she was concerned about me and wanted me to go to treatment. We compromised on me going to an AA meeting. So I went to my first AA meeting when I was 23, after having done a week sober. Went to the meeting, said, yes, I am an alcoholic. These people are my people. They are telling my story. But I am not ready to stop partying. I thought because I was 23, I was too young. All of my friends partied. I didn't want to stop. I didn't know what I would do instead. So I went to that first meeting, kind of came away with that decision. Went to another meeting just to double check. Felt like, again, everything that was said in that room resonated, and I didn't want to stop drinking. About 2 months after that, I mentioned I had 2 younger brothers. I was really close with one of them. We would party together. He was 2 years younger than me. And I felt like he, of all people, kind of knew my family and knew me. And I felt like I really knew him. And so, anyways, I'm 23, went to these two AA meetings. About a month later, one of my friends died from a heart attack, likely cocaine, alcohol, other substances. My friend from like elementary school onward. And then my boss, since I was working, able to hold down a job at that time, my boss was arrested. Well, not arrested yet, but he was kicked out of his position for a number of different fraudulent charges. So both of those things kind of hit me, and I was like, life is feeling very chaotic. And then my brother died by suicide. And that really destroyed me. I started therapy like the month before he died, similar to going to the AA meetings. I was like, okay, I should probably, do something if I'm not doing AA. So therapy. But anyway, so I had my therapist as a support, but otherwise I was completely just destroyed. I didn't think that my life mattered. I didn't see the point in being alive. He and I were so close that I thought he would have called me. And so it made me question my family relationships. It made me question my own judgment. It made me feel really guilty for having partied with him so much. And my self-hatred just kind of grew and grew to the point where I truly didn't care if I lived or died for about 2 years. And during that time, I continued to work. I started drinking in the mornings before work, and doing other substances. So I was drinking 6 out of 7 days a week, and I felt really good about myself if I kept that 7th day without using a substance or drinking a drink. And somehow I still had a place to live. I still had friends, and I still had a job. And I think I was just really good at hiding, because I was able to hide it for probably a year and a half of those 2 years. Towards the end, I was always drunk. I think my friends knew. They were wondering why I was, falling asleep after we would have one drink to pregame, because I had 10 like on my way there. Maybe not that many, but a lot. And finally, I had, after that time, around that time, I had something on the outside that kind of made me realize, like, oh, maybe it is now time for me to get help. I ended up having a DUI, driving home from work after having finished a large amount of alcohol, driving home from work around like 4:30 in the afternoon, super high blood alcohol content, and spent the night in Santa Monica jail, where I was living and working at the time. Not at the jail, but Santa Monica. So spent the night in jail, and the next morning I told my mom about it. And she said, I want you to go to the psych ward and get evaluated. Otherwise, I'm not going to go on the trip that I have planned. So I went to the psych ward, got evaluated. The doctor gave me a couple brochures for rehabs in the area. 2 of my friends came to me and suggested that I stop working for a while and that I stop drinking for a while. The third piece of that, I talked to my therapist. I said, this happened. I got a DUI. My friends think I should stop working for a while and stop drinking for a while. The doctor at the psych ward gave me these pamphlets for rehab. And I'd asked her a number of times in the past, like, do you think I should go to rehab? And she would ask me, well, why do you want to go? Say, I really want a vacation. I want a break from my life. And this time she was like, well, do you want to stop drinking? And I was able to say yes. So I ended up going to rehab, showed up drunk. I was really ready to be sober. I, again, just felt so destroyed, empty, broken, just not like a person. And when I got there, because of that, I think I took the program seriously. We were taught about AA at the rehab I went. So I stayed there, did the meetings, did the rehab program, and afterwards had the information I needed to go straight into AA. I came out of rehab. The first day I was home, my roommates were throwing a party with various substances all around our home. And I was able to leave and go to an AA meeting instead of joining in. And ever since then, I've managed to stay sober. I was 25. And much of that has been through the support of AA and doing the steps and making an effort to maintain my connection with my higher power. Early on, I think it was a lot harder than it is now, at least in terms of the desire to drink and trying to abstain. At this point, I'm so thankful I don't have the desire. I still have days that I feel disconnected, largely when I'm not going to meetings, when I'm not doing the things that I know are important for my sobriety, and when I'm not feeling connected with my higher power. But I know, what to do. And I can name usually the things that I'm not doing that have led to me feeling a little squirrely. And it's just been looking back to, a little over 5 years ago when I got that DUI, compared to today, my life is completely different. I didn't think I would be alive at that time, to be the age I am today. I didn't realize, I think, that it was possible for life to feel balanced. I didn't think I realized that it was possible to have such authentic relationships, that I could just be me and that's okay. And I have all of that in my life today. And I'm just very, very grateful for AA and for the program and the steps and all the people who have given support along the way. But how much time is it?
You have 1 minute.
Great. Cool. The promises have come true, and I don't think I ever thought that any of them would. Definitely thought that I was a lost cause, and it's really just wonderful to be able to be here. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.